Okay friends, one of the first things we have to do is safely raise and support the rear of the truck, and then of course we're going to remove all of our lug nuts and then the wheel. Do is go ahead and remove our caliper to caliper slider bolts. There's going to be 2 of them. We need to get them both out of there. Remove your caliper. Get this off of there. Now you're going to want to inspect your caliper. If you see any fluid that looks like it's coming out of this boot right here, that means that you have to replace your caliper. As you can tell, this one's been leaking for a while. It needs to be replaced. Let's go ahead and get these pads out of here. There we are. Now the next thing we need to do is remove our caliper bracket bolts. Now the next thing we're going to do is take one of our lug nuts and start it onto one of the lug studs. After you've done that, let's continue on by removing the rotor. Okay, now let's just go ahead and grab onto this right here. I'm going to use some nice locking pliers and hold on to it. Right along here you're going to find a tab. We want to grab that tab and pull it so it's loosened. Now the next thing we need to do is separate these 2 ears so it relieves the e-brake cable. Go ahead and wiggle this until it breaks free. We'll slide the cable out of there. There we are. Now that that's off of there, let's go ahead and pull this out of its mounting point. We want to go ahead and do the same to this clip. I'm just going to hold on to it. I'll pry the locking tab. There we are. Now we're just going to break the cable free from the locking mechanism here. A nice wiggle. There we are. Okay friends, now it's time for our installation. I'm just going to go ahead and take this locking clip here. I'm going to slide my cable in there so it's pretty much ready to go in. And then of course we'll slide it so it locks in. Give this a nice tug. All right. You can tell that it's locked in. Now let's go ahead and get our cable on here. Slide it into its locking point here. Give it a nice tug. Make sure it's locked in. Okay, this looks great. Let's go ahead and slide this through here. Let's go ahead and grab onto this area with some pliers. And now we'll just go ahead and put a nice tug and we'll put these 2 together. There we are. Make sure that's nice and locked in. Perfect. Now back over at the truck, let's continue by putting on our caliper bracket with our caliper bracket bolts. I always like to use a little bit of red thread locker on these. We'll go ahead and snug them up and then we'll torque them to 52 foot-pounds. Okay, now it's going to be time to put on our brake pads. What you're going to notice is you have wear indicators on them. We want to essentially line these up so we have the wear indicators both facing on the same side here. Let's put the top area in, line up the bottom, and put that in as well. You should feel these be able to flow nicely. Do the same for the outer pad. That feels good. Now let's take our caliper, slide it right over those pads, push in on the sliders so we can slide the caliper over it, and then of course we'll put on our slider bolts with a little bit of red thread locker. Okay, now let's go ahead and snug them up and torque them to 23 foot-pounds. I'm going to hold the slider so it doesn't spin and snug it up. Let's go ahead and get the wheel up on here, hopefully. Start on all of our lug nuts, we'll snug them up, and then we'll get it on the ground and torque them to 100 foot-pounds. Torqued. Of course, if you have your lug nut covers, let's go ahead and make sure we put those on as well.